Hello, welcome to Storyvan TV. And I'm so excited to share with you today someone I've met that just so intrigued me. And we had a lovely conversation. I said, she must come on the show. And this is Irina Shehovsov. I will get that smoothly as time goes on. Right now, she's Irina to me. Let me just tell you a little bit about her, though. She is not only, and we're going to talk about this today, a best-selling author. She's a certified NLP trainer, a certified wellness and 10X fitness coach, a product manager, a podcast host, and she also created an amazing program, Reclaim Your Life. Now, there's so much more behind the scenes. She's also a mom, and she has a lot to share with us about life because she's been many places, and she is on the East Coast of the US in New York. And Irina, we just want to thank you for coming on Storyvan TV today, and tell us how you got started writing a book. What inspired you?
Hello, Bunny, and thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here. Writing books was actually a dream of mine, and it was 6 years ago when I first kind of thought how I want to live my life. Mm-hmm. The way it was is I wanted to travel the world, write books, create paintings, sing on stage. And I kind of forgot about it because it was so long ago. Mm-hmm. And recently, so this year, I got a chance through a series of fortunate events. I met a publisher, and we kind of hit it off with the publisher. Mm-hmm. Similar stories, and the first book was Sacred Surrender and got published on April 1st. It became a bestseller as well.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah. You already wrote a second book.
And I already, the second book I just launched last Friday. It was Revolutionary Leaders, and with the same publishing company. And the first one, when I wrote, the message spoke to me. It's surrender. It's, coming home to yourself. Mm-hmm. And the places like we go and what did we learn through the process. So that's how the first book was born, a dream come true. In disguise, it's kind of unfolded. And here I am. I became a writer, and I love writing more and more.
Yes.
And a newly discovered passion.
Well, tell me, though, you're multifaceted in the sense you said singing. I heard that the other day. Singing is something that totally gave you spark.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think singing was the best thing I ever done for myself, was getting a voice coach. It allowed me to sing what I couldn't speak. It opened up my voice because for years I wasn't very assertive. And with my voice, I was subjecting to being a people pleaser and never actually expressing who I am. So it kind of allowed me to open up my voice and find out who I am. And I also believe in creative self-expression. Doesn't matter what it is, but it is important part of everyday living for us to release our emotions, whether you do it through art, through painting, singing, or writing, either way, because you don't need to harbor all of those things in, because when you do, you can develop a disease. So it's like a daily practice that you can implement by releasing your emotions in any kind of creative medium that you find yourself excited about.
So would you say the people that resonate with you are women, but maybe professional women, or is this for every woman? Who is this book meant for?
It's for any women or men who feel stuck, who feel that all hope is lost and there is no return. It's for anyone who feels lost, and for those who actually want to find themselves.
Well, that's the other part, right? And how do you help them through finding themselves? Is it by your stories? Do you have a method that you've created?
Yes. So my method is happiness, combining 4 states of being: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. I believe in total health framework. When all of those states are thriving, can you truly be happy? And investing in hobbies, because we often think as adults that hobbies are for kids, but we all have that little 5-year-old inside of us, and we do need to give him creative expression. Whatever it is, maybe you like Pilates or singing or dancing or walking, whatever it is, but just do it. So it's, first of all, it's healing, it's having health in all those areas. And how do you establish that? It's the habits that we create on day-to-day basis, because it doesn't matter, it's the habits that create our life. And habits are all good by default because they produce a result. A question, do you like the result they produce? And if you don't, then change the habit that created the result. And you can achieve anything possible. And I also work with mindset, like with negative emotions and negative self-talk, because we often talk to ourselves like we do to a worst enemy. We would never talk like that to a friend who is going through a difficult time. So it is important to know the mindset, being present, also meditation. So it's utilizing all different techniques and methods in different areas of health, eating right, sleeping, exercising, because our bodies were created for movement. So healing all those things, and then exploring your hobbies and surrounding yourself with positive people, making sure what do you let in, like avoiding negative news, avoiding negative toxic situations, and what do you allow in? How do you kind of develop yourself like that? Because we have unlimited potential, and our job is to protect what's going on right here.
Right between the ears.
Yes, it's what we allow in.
What do you think gave you the strength to not only be a mom, but a businesswoman, a highly educated woman, and write books? What was that niggling part of you, that that desire to give back to everyone? I mean, you've learned your lessons. Now you're giving back. What was that trigger that did that for you?
Well, a trigger actually came when I was in Phoenix, Arizona in September of 2019. And there was a YouTuber on stage, Evan Carmichael, who said that there is not enough belief in this world today. And you should help somebody who is a step behind you. And the people who I wanted to help was women who spend their lifetime being in a family, raising their kids, being in a relationship, and then they lost themselves in the process of that. And now they are standing by themselves without any hope or how to move forward. They feel lack of clarity, they feel lack of focus, they feel depleted, and they want to find a way out, because that's where I was. And it doesn't matter, like, you don't have to be 20 steps ahead of somebody. It could be a step ahead, and if you can help show that first or the next step, then it will allow for them to rediscover their way.
Wow,
and I'm not saying my way is the way, but I can offer different things that hopefully can help relieve the lack of clarity and find that focus.
In a sense, it alleviates their pain that they may be experiencing, and maybe they don't even know they are till they hear you speak and your stories, and open that door for them to take a peek, because they may have that door shut, just saying this is the way it is, and then you're opening that door for people to go, oh my gosh, there's a whole world out there. Instead of being like this, they go, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Do you have an example of someone that you have worked with, or they read your book, or you've just chatted with, that may have dramatically changed their life?
Sure. There was actually an interesting story. It was a younger person in her early 20s, and she already felt like she lost herself because of how she was growing up. A lot of stress and a lot of not neglect, but growing up in a family where her father wasn't around, and she found herself in kind of locked in space emotionally. And after working with me, she was in my Self-Love Academy program, and I showed her ways of how she could practice self-care and self-love by taking breaks in your day and enjoying the nature, connecting with nature, and utilizing those self-care practices. Oftentimes, women especially neglect themselves. They put themselves on the back burner, and they don't, because we think self-care is selfish, but you cannot be a better person if you cannot give anything if you're empty on the inside. So by working with her, and she was not my target audience, but it was interesting that she resonated with my message, with what I was teaching, and she got so much better. She became expressive. She started, like, she was writing poetry, but it was kind of hidden. So I suggested to her, go to those poetry circles, share your talent.
So, but what I'm hearing you say from what I did hear is, if the person is given the tools and they actually use them, it can dynamically change their life, and they'll feel more joy and more alive.
Yes.
And it opens their world up. So as you said, you help that person and the next person will help the next person, so that we can all be happier, more alive, and helping other people, which is a joy in itself.
Yes. And you don't know what else can open up once you establish your health markers or health parameters and the habits. What more intuition will allow you to bring or give birth to some new creation?
Right. So I know singing's a real favorite, art, poetry. The other day we were chatting, and you had a huge vision for people, and they can do this at home, of course, but of having a place where they could go to try these things, because I think that is fascinating. Because growing up where I grew up in Los Angeles. I actually didn't experience, I was the oldest of 5 kids, but I didn't experience a lot of things until later in my 20s and 30s and 40s. And I go, wow, that's also interesting. And singing, I was afraid to sing. It was in my late 50s before I took a class at a spiritual center, and a woman says, everyone can sing. And I said, oh, I can't sing. And she goes, yes, you can sing. And she had about 10 of us singing. And it was, like you said, it was a breakthrough for me to say, oh, I guess I can sing. But I didn't think I could. But what I'm hearing you say is that you have a big vision of putting this in all one place in future. But till then, right now, what you're doing is you're sharing yourself through your books. So do you want to share a little bit about your book that you just currently launched?
Sure. So the currently book that was launched was Revolutionary Leaders, and it was sharing stories. I contributed a chapter into that book, and my story is called Once I Was Lost and Now I'm Found. And it is sharing, first of all, what is a revolutionary leader, and it is a person who questions what's wrong and what's right, is not afraid actually to ask the question, and then sharing the knowledge, what they learned with the world, and being the light in the dark places. And then sharing my story, how I came to be. And I also am sharing tips for people who feel stuck, who feel hopeless, what they can do. What are some of the techniques they can implement, like meditation and practicing forgiveness. I believe forgiveness is a daily practice, because anytime you have a grudge with somebody in your day-to-day living, it's best to let it go that night or the next following morning, so you don't live with that baggage of unresolved emotional heartache and drama.
Right.
Connecting with nature, practicing 10 minutes of joy every day.
Like going down to the river.
Yes. So the book is about, it's filled with inspirational messages from different authors, each bringing their own light and sharing it with the world from different perspective. But the main idea is to inspire.
Now, you've written one book, you've written another book. I have this tingly feeling that there's another book behind the scenes.
Yes, it is. So I'm right now looking for collaborators, because next book is about single parents. And it's going to be centered around the podcast that I host, again, sharing inspirational messages for single parents to help them feel better. The life is not lost after divorce. They can realize themselves. They can find things and tools and techniques to thrive.
Wow. Is that for men and women?
Yes, it is.
And your podcast, that sounds fascinating. So how long have you been doing that?
2 years. In March, there have been 2 years, and it's been an incredible journey. I was able to connect with so many amazing people who were willing to share the story, and I'm interviewing past and present single parents as well as experts to help navigate the post-divorce journey. So I had people talk about, your brain and emotions and health and fitness and wellness and divorce proceedings or financial situations, and also on parenting. So it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah, it sounds like I have not been through that, but people that I do know that have been through it, it can be very traumatic because it's family is family, and the high emotions that can come from people coming in apart, and then even if someone meets someone new and bringing a new family together, both the tearing apart and the rebuilding, or being single on their own, all have their own dynamics. And
Yes.
I could see where in life that would probably be one of the more stressful things to go through. Yeah. Do you have a favorite quote or saying that you like, a mantra that you do for yourself to keep yourself, with all that you do? But is there a favorite that you go to over and over again in your head?
Sure, I like one of my own. Just like electric plant generate electricity, you can generate happiness from within.
Oh, I like that. That is profound, because we literally do have 4 volts of electricity in us.
Yes.
And if it gets stuck, it hurts.
Yeah. And the whole point is that we can generate it. We don't have to go look for it somewhere else. It's all is inside. It's not found outside. It's not somebody else's job to make you happy. It is your job to make you happy.
And when someone's really, really, really stuck, is there anything else that you might recommend for them on top of, I mean, we can say things, but the physical doing, is it the exercise? Is it the,
Yes, it's a combination. So it's exercise. When you feel anger, go exercise, get the frustration out. If you feel sad, do a meditation. Meditation is for anybody, and it doesn't have to be hard if you're brand new into it. Just sit down for 2 minutes, start small, start somewhere, and it's never too late to start. As long as you have the desire to change and willingness to change, anything is possible.
Oh my goodness. You are one of the most energetic, bright, happy people I've ever met. I just so love it. And I am so glad to have met you. Number one, how do people get a hold of you? How do they order your book that's now #1 seller? Let's see here. We've got I see. We've got it, the ticker tape at the bottom. Irina, and then your last name, Shehovsov. I'll get it eventually. And you can learn more on LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn.
And order the book from LinkedIn.
And you can order the book from LinkedIn. And is there anywhere else they should go to learn more about you?
Yes, so there is Instagram and there is Linktree. Instagram is at re.claimyourlife. And there is a Linktree there in the bio, and you can purchase the book through the Linktree. There is a link there for both books, the first and the second one.
Fabulous. And is that where you like to hang out, on Instagram?
Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. Facebook is just my name, Irina Shehovsov.
Perfect. Wonderful. We are just delighted to have you here on Story Van. I know many single parents are going to be very happy they heard this interview. And they, as you said, as they learn a little bit, then they can take that information and share it with another person, because we all want the world to be a better, more peaceful, happier place.
Yes.
Any last things you'd like to share with us, Irina?
No matter what, believe in yourself because you are limitless.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much again for being on Storyvan TV. And we're going to be looking you up for that next book that'll be coming out.
Thank you.
Okay.